There's actually a wedding DJ scam out there. They just covered this. They just talked about this on the Road podcast. Trays was talking. Trays was on the shouts to DJ Trays from DC. He was on the Road podcast. Shouts to Road podcast. Las Vegas, Crooked, Jamie, all those guys. If you don't listen, it's an amazing podcast. Definitely check it out. It's probably my favorite DJ podcast in the world. But listen to what Trays had to say about this.
Pedro Knight, who does Adobo
in DMV, yeah.
He tweeted the other day that a client of his tried to finesse him into doing their wedding.
That
told him like
10
10 months earlier that he was going to be DJing a cocktail party week before the gig. I'm going to have some special songs and dances and announcements, and then it came out that it was a wedding. That's so
crazy.
Then there's a whole thread on Reddit of wedding clients, brides and grooms that are using this tactic to finesse DJs doing their weddings for cheaper by telling them it's not a wedding and then springing it on the last minute.
Jesus Christ. If someone's booking you for more than 6 to 8 months, it's probably a wedding or something big. So that already is a red flag.
You're the DJ, you could just be like, I'm good.
I don't want to do it.
Yeah, the invoice. The invoice is everything.
You know, you can like sue me for breach of contract. Oh, and by the way, I'm keeping your deposit.
So that's some crazy shit, right? And I've actually heard of this happening before. This scam has been going down for years. It's definitely not a new scam, but the fact that like there's a Reddit about it, everything. So essentially, and there's a lot of like memes about this. There's a lot of like, there's a whole side of the wedding industry essentially that claims, not the industry itself. I'm putting in the wrong words. There's a whole group of fucking people that bitch online that say that the word wedding is something that all wedding vendors, not just DJs, but anybody who works weddings, they say that people use the word wedding to triple their price and to rip off couples just because it's a wedding. And they claim that, you know, all vendors essentially provide the same service that they do for weddings to other parties, but like, you know, they charge triple because it's a wedding or whatever. And it's a scam, And then that kind of birthed this whole idea of couples, right? Stupid scumbag ass couples that hit up a DJ and are like, listen, we're having a cocktail party. Totally not a wedding, just a party, you know, just a little party. And then they get the party price. And then last minute, they hit him with the intros and they hit him with the first dance and they hit him with the formalities. And then you realize last minute it's a wedding. And then what? You know what I mean? Then what are you going to tell them their beat? You know, some DJs would, some DJs wouldn't. And you get scammed out of a lot of money. And, you know, I disagree with the whole premise that like, you know, we're, you know, just because it's a wedding, no, like weddings are crazy. Like weddings have the most pressure. Every wedding is a Super Bowl. Every wedding is Game 7. So like, of course it's going to be more money just in general. Like, of course it is. Like the wedding price is always going to be more because you're not redoing this party. This isn't an annual party. This isn't like a, you know, your 17th birthday party could have been better. We'll get him on the 18th birthday. Like, no, this is a wedding. This is a once in a lifetime thing. So obviously it's going to be more money. It's just obvious. All right. These are just cheap assholes that, it's not fair. It's just not right. And just like, let's scam them. Totally disagree with all of it. And, you know, anybody who does do it, I hope they fucking, something bad happens to them. It's because it's terrible. It's terrible. And like, it puts a DJ in a really tough spot. Because at that point, right, you either do the wedding and, you know, just take it on the chin, realize you got scammed and you're pissed off for the whole 5.5 hours at the wedding, or you tell them their beat and, you know, now you got a whole situation on your hands and it could be, you know, legally can be messed up. You know, they're scrambling last minute. They could flame you. Like they can totally leave out the part that they scammed you and just say, hey, DJ so-and-so totally canceled on me last minute and try and fuck your reputation. Like it's a tough thing. So I figured I'd talk about this and give you guys some tips because these scammers are out there. This actually did happen to me a long time ago. And I ended up just doing the wedding. It was probably 10 years ago, 15 years ago. And it ended up being a wedding. I was like, oh, you know, and I just kind of, all right, no problem. And I just did the wedding and took it on the chin. But I, you know, never the fuck again. And I use these tips and I hope you will too. And I hope this helps you. Okay. Because we got to be diligent, DJs. We got to be diligent. You can't get screwed over for some shit like this. It's a tough situation to be in. So number one, okay, is you got to look for signs. Okay. It could be verbiage like cocktail party, right? Things like that. Just like Crooked said in that interview, if they book months in advance, that's a red flag. Mostly if it's a birthday party, you might book 3 months in advance. Mitzvahs are far in advance. Mitzvahs are in the same category as wedding, but no one's going to, you know what I mean? Mitzvahs don't do that. So like really, if it's months and months in advance and they're saying it's just a regular party, that's a huge red flag. And also always meet with them in person or on Zoom or something and look for that big fat rock without a wedding band. That's a huge sign. When someone gets engaged, when a girl gets engaged, she's not taking off the rock, right? I mean, I guess theoretically, if they're really trying to scam, she's going to take it off and like try and be sneaky. But like, I feel like that's something that may get left on sometimes. So look for things like that, okay? Be diligent. Be diligent. Look for red flags. Don't get caught up, okay? And then the two other things I want to talk about is adjusting your contract and adjusting your pay. So I'm not a lawyer. I'm actually very bad at legal things. So I'm going to be very vague when it comes to the contract. But I think that it's probably a good idea to have somewhere in your contract like that, like this is a party contract and a wedding contract, like have two separate things. And that way, like have the verbiage in there somehow. So like, let's say like they say it's a party, you give them a party contract, you find out later it's a wedding, then you could legally say, nah, like either give me this much more money or I'm not DJing your wedding per this contract because this is not a wedding contract. You know what I mean? So like you got to be able to say it in the verbiage somewhere, right? If there's a lawyer in here, then tell us how to really do it. But consult with your lawyer, have verbiage in there that if this is a wedding, this contract is no longer valid if this is for a wedding or some shit like that, right? So adjust your contract so it covers your ass so you can pull out. But you have to realize too, if you're in this situation and you pull out, even if it's 100% legal, you know, you have the internet now, you have all these bridal groups and these like, you know, wedding groups and stuff. And this bride will most likely flame you in all these groups and leave out the important details and make you look like you're just a DJ that canceled last minute. And that's like catastrophic. So like, it's a tough situation. My personal advice, what I would do if I was ever in this situation again, is I would just take it on the chin and do the wedding. And then, you know, that couple's dead to me and I'm very upset about it. And I'll let them know. I'll let them know on the low. I'm like, yo, like, I'm going to do your wedding, but fuck you. You're like, literally, it'll like on the side, that's literally what I'll say. I'll do your wedding, but fuck you. Okay. But fuck you for pulling this off. And I can't, and I, if people don't dance, I'm not even upset about it. You know what I mean? Or some shit. I don't know. I would personally do the wedding just because like, I don't want to get flamed later. But if you have it in the contract, you'll be able to pull out. And then pricing. So, this is pricing's a slippery slope. But I think the number one thing when it comes to pricing is if you're a wedding DJ, right? I can only speak for wedding DJs. I'm a wedding DJ. I think your goal in life should be to, you know, get to the point where you're just the same price for everything, right? When it comes to private events, you know, either exclusively do weddings and that's it. And that's your price. Or if you do parties, charge them the same price. And it sounds crazy, but, and it is a goal to get to. It's not like, it's not easy. It's not like, it took me a long time to get to the point where like, you know, I'm comfortable enough and I'll just, you know, oh, you're having a birthday. Happy birthday. It's this much money. You know what I mean? Like, and they're like, well, there's no discount because it's a birthday. No, like I don't like, because it's not worth it. I still have to set up the equipment. I still have to go out there, the expertise, all that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's the ultimate goal. But if you're starting out, you know what I mean? Obviously, you want to get as much experience as you can. You might charge $1,200, $1,500 for a wedding, but then you get a party, maybe it's $600, right? $500. It's a birthday party. It's less pressure. You know, there's no formalities. You don't really have to MC too much other than the whole cake and singing happy birthday and yada, yada, yada. It's easier. I get that. I charged $400, $500 for birthday parties for years and years and years and years. And I got a lot of experience through that. So like, I'm not saying don't do that. I think a lot of DJs should do that and continue to do that and just be diligent and like look out for these signs and all that. But have in the back of your head that you know, like as a goal that you want to move to exclusively weddings where you're doing enough weddings a year where like that's, you don't have to worry about price. And then if a party like that comes up, it's just the wedding price and that's it. You know what I mean? And some people will pay the wedding price. Like I've been paid my wedding price for birthday parties before. It's possible. It's literally possible. If they value what you do and they really want you specifically, they will pay it. Make that a goal, you know, and try and keep, in general, try and keep your wedding price. Like don't make your birthday party price a third of your wedding price. I think that just doesn't make sense at all. Maybe 2/3. Maybe like give them 33% off or something like that, because you're minusing the formalities, you're minusing the overall like big pressure. But at the end of the day, you're still setting up all your shit. And you're still rocking the party. You still got to get people to dance. If you show up and it's a rough crowd and you're struggling, you know what I mean? Like, it could still be a pain. Like, I can't tell you how many times I charged $400 for a party and I was there and it was a super hard crowd and I'm struggling and I'm pissed off. I'm like, man, why did I charge $400 for this shit? And you kick yourself later, So just strive to raise that party price up, but in general, we gotta be diligent. That's some crazy shit.